Hello curl friends, welcome to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Jody and it's great to have you join me today. Today we are doing a this or that video where I take a look at two different products and I just kind of compare them. So they're products that are similar, like to creams, to leave-ins, to mousse kind of foams, to gels, or to custards. So that is what I mean when I say I'm taking a look at a specific category of products and just comparing two of them together. We're doing a side-by-side. I clearly already have my hair parted and I actually already have my base layer on because we are going to be looking at two different gels. Hair gel is a water-based styling product designed to stiffen and lock hair into a specific shape, providing varying degrees of hold and shine. It is commonly used to tame frizz, slick hair back, or define curls. Gels contain styling polymers that form a web-like film around each hair strand as the gel dries, binding them together. But let me tell you what I do already have in my hair. I've already parted it and I've already brush styled it with the AG Curl Fresh Definer. And so this is the product I put in. This is a lightweight cream. I was debating whether I wanted to do a leave-in or a cream. My other option was going to be the Chi Keratin leave-in conditioner, something like that. And I was choosing that for the proteins. I just personally tend to prefer curl creams, and I knew that this one was a lightweight base, and I also knew what it gave to my hair. Now the reason why I did choose the cream also had to do with the two gels that I chose to go in a side-by-side test with. We have the Aunt Jackie's The Curl Boss Coconut Curling Gelée. I'm just going to refer to it as the Curl Boss probably, or the Aunt Jackie side. And then we have the Joico Joigel Firm. Now both of these are thicker gels. I'm looking to see how they hold up in my hair. I want to see how long do they last, like how long do they keep my curl definition, and how long do they protect against like the environment, the heat and humidity that we're having. Because my hair is already brush styled with the other product, the cream that I put in first, I'm not looking for it defining my curls necessarily. I'm just looking for it to reduce the amount of frizz and once again hold the curls in place. I do also want to see if it gives any like longer lasting moisture on one side versus the other, and what the shine factor is, and also like the volume that my hair might have or might not have. So why don't I start out first with the Aunt Jackie's The Curl Boss Coconut Curling Gelée. This 3-ounce retails for $4.77, although when I picked it up I still think it was under the $4 mark. I could be wrong, but the 15-ounce, the larger tub size, retails for $6.97. It says this gelée is the perfect styling remedy to help achieve soft, bouncy, smooth, hydrated, radiant looking curls, coils, and waves. Great for wash and go styles and any curly style in need of long-lasting moisture. When used properly along with the other Aunt Jackie's Curl Boss, it can help to minimize shrinkage and won't weigh your hair down and cause flaking or caking. The directions say it's best applied to wet or slightly damp hair. Depending on your hair's length and texture, apply a moderate amount throughout the hair from roots to ends. Evenly distribute by raking through the hair with fingers and style as desired. Now the directions on the website did go on to give further directions like what your hair type was, if it was coily or coarse, or if it was a more fine texture and everything like that. But basically the more coarse and coily your hair is, you probably need to go in with more product, and the more fine your hair is, go in with less product. Now I have been talking quite a bit and I've been going back and forth because I've forgotten a few things on before I actually started filming, so my hair has dried out a little bit. So I'm just going in with a little bit more water. My hair was already a wet base to start out with. I like to style on pretty wet hair. As you can tell, my robe is very wet. I'm just going to smooth that over a little bit, just trying to get it into my strands without disturbing the curl clumps that I've already brush styled. I'm just going to scrunch a little bit more just to once again try to incorporate that water into my hair a little bit more. All right, let's go in with some of the product here. Now I've only ever paired this gel with the Aunt Jackie's, what is it, the purple one, the curling custard, and I really love my results. But it is a little bit of a thicker gel, and that's one of the reasons why I also chose these two gels to compare, is because I thought their texture might be pretty similar. And hopefully I found a way to insert already the side-by-side where I talk about what a gel is supposed to do for your hair, because well, I forgot to kind of leave a pausing moment for that, but I think I've gotten it in there. So anyways, that is another reason why I do like to go in on more wet hair as well, just to help this thicker gel kind of distribute, sorry. And sometimes for thicker gels, you might find that you need to go in with a little bit more water. Now, neither of these gels have a ton of tackiness or significant amount of tackiness initially at least. And so I find that it distributes pretty well without going in with any extra water on my hands. The water that I have in my hair works out just fine. Now, if your hair is less saturated with water than mine is, if it's more on the damp side, then you may have more troubles distributing this gel. But on very wet hair, I don't have a problem with it necessarily. I do feel like I want to go in with just a little bit more, just a little pea-sized amount here. And I'm going to focus some of that a little bit more on the back area, I think. Sometimes when doing these side-by-side tests, I feel like that can kind of get missed a little bit. And you can see that I'm just going in and scrunching a lot. Because of the thickness of this gel, even though it did disperse well into my hair, just glazing it on and scrunching is not one that I would recommend necessarily to brush style with. I just feel like it might get a little, like it might cause some more tugging, it might cause some more pulling. Some looser gels you can get away with brush styling that and to distribute it, but for this one, I personally wouldn't recommend it. All right, I went and cleaned off my hands, and now I'm just going in with more water on my right side. Just once again, trying to get it to the same level as the left side was. And try and follow the same steps, just smoothing that into my strands. And I will scrunch it in as well here in a minute. If I feel like I need to go in with more, I can. I think this feels pretty good. I may want to go in with just a tiny bit more right up top here though. All right, let's go in with the other gel. This is the Joico Joigel Firm. 8.5 ounce retails anywhere from $19.35 to $22. And the specs say this is hair that's tough, tenacious, thick, even coarse at times, needs a styling gel that will fearlessly stand up to feistiness. This firm hold formula, which locks out pollution, humidity, and coaxes those spirited strands into shape. It also offers thermal protections. The directions say to apply to damp, dry hair and style as usual. Well, clearly I am not following the directions for using damp or putting it on damp to dry hair, but here we go anyways. Now I'm going to try to apply about the same amount. And once again, just glazing it over. I am going to lift my layers a little bit, just try to get some of those undersides and scrunching. Just try to get any extra off. This is a more perfumed fragrance than the Aunt Jackie's one. That wasn't something I necessarily remembered about the products before doing this side by side, but I can definitely smell a fragrance to the Joigel one. I don't mind it, but if you are very sensitive to scents, it might be something to, consider. All right, once again, I do think I want to go in with just a little bit more, and I do think I want to target that in the back area, and I feel like I maybe missed a little bit on the top as well. Just, kind of pull, or not pull, but flatten some of those flyaways into place. I'm not trying to flatten my hair because I'm not like really pulling it down, but just, slightly glazing my hand over any flyaways that may be forming up at the top there. I always do get some flyaways up there regardless. It's just the nature of curly hair, I believe. All right, normally at this point, after applying the product and scrunching it into my hair thoroughly, I'd be ready to wet plop. But because I have this side by side, I really just don't want to mix the strands that much. But let's just take a look at the two sides here. This is the Aunt Jackie's, the Curl Boss, and this is the Joigel, the Firm. I don't know if there's like a medium. I know they have a different category altogether where it's like the curly type, and they probably have some other gels, but there might be a medium version of this, a medium variety that's in like this black to silver packaging. I'm not 100% sure. Right now, I think the Joigel looks like it might be giving me a little bit more volume, a little bit more lightness to it, but it's really early to tell. Diffusing my hair is obviously, once my hair is diffused and dry, it gives you the best idea of what the two gels offer. So let me go do that before this dries in this elongated position, and we'll be back and look at the results. Okay, you guys, are you ready to see these results? Let's take a look at what my curls are looking like. Okay, let's do a side by side. This is the Aunt Jackie's and the underneath, and then the Joigel and the underneath. and then we'll take a look at the back and we'll get into some more of the details. All right, so when I picked out these gels, I picked them out because I thought that they might be similar, but sometimes I'm still surprised by how similar my results look. Like, these to me look very much alike, very much alike. I have, let's start on the Aunt Jackie's side. I have good separation of curls, not like super big curl clumps and not like super tiny, almost like, I want to say, stringy curls. That's not the case at all, but they're good, plump, juicy curl clumps, but there's separation throughout them, and that gives me volume. That gives me lift to my hair. I have definition clear up to the top. I do have some minimal frizz. I have a little bit more frizz right in this area. I think that mainly has to do with my application. I just need to get a little bit more in there because the rest of my hair, while I said it does have a little bit of frizz to it, it's functional frizz and it works into the style. It's not excessive anywhere on the side, and so I really do like that. The shine is nice and natural looking, and like I said, there is good volume to my hair, especially for having a center part. Center part always cuts down on my volume, but I feel like I have good lift to my hair. Now, as far as the moisture, it feels good. It feels average. It feels nice. Not heavy, not weighed down, and it doesn't feel dry at all. Now, moving on to the Joico side, I have very similarly, very good curl definition, maybe slightly, ever so slightly, a little bit bigger curl clumps on this side, but it's very, very minimal, that difference, I feel like. There is good definition throughout. There is a little bit of frizz, very similar to the Aunt Jackie side, where the frizz kind of works with the hairstyle a little bit. It's not excessive, and I just generally like my curl pattern here as well. My hair has a decent amount of lift to it. Once again, for the center part, there might be a slight bit less volume on the Joico side, but ever so slight. I feel like it's not a huge difference, and I have good shine throughout my hair. I do feel like the moisture on this one, once again, feels pretty good. Now, there is a slight difference though that I do want to talk about. As I was diffusing my hair, there was a slight cast for both sides as I was initially diffusing, as the product was just starting to dry. Both sides gave me a slight cast. Now, as I continued to dry, the Aunt Jackie side actually dried a little bit faster. It got a little bit fluffier, broke apart a little bit more. That cast disappeared pretty fast. Now, for the Joico side, I do feel like the cast remained intact a little bit longer. And even now to this point, I still feel like I feel a little bit of it right in here. I did go back in with a little bit more product there, so maybe it was just a little bit more concentrated in that spot than it was like in the rest of my hair. But that'll disappear as the day goes on, I'm sure. And by tomorrow, when we do our check back, we'll be able to give a whole nother feel for how these gels have held up. A cast generally does give a little bit of advantage for helping a gel hold up, but like I said, we'll see. I am debating about mowing my yard later this afternoon. If I have the time, there might be something else that comes up later too. I'm not really sure. So if I do get to mow it, we'll definitely be putting these gels to the test, and I will probably be pinning my hair back a little bit just so it stays out of my face. But other than that, I think I want to wait and reserve final judgment for tomorrow just to see, how this is holding up. So the point of this routine is we want to see how these gels, each of these gels, help control the curls during these more humid months. If you have a guess at this point, definitely leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But if you'd like to see what my results are tomorrow and what my final judgment is, like, I always choose on these this or that videos which side I like the best. So there will be a judgment come tomorrow. And if you'd like to see that, just stay tuned. So I'll see you in about 24 hours. All right, curl friends, we are back with day 2 results with the this or that video. And on this side, I have the Aunt Jackie's, the Curl Boss. And this is what the curls are looking like. And then I have the Joico Joigel Firm Gel, or Firm. I guess it's just called Firm. And this is what the curls are looking like. And I'm going to give you a shot of the back. And then we definitely have a bunch that I just wanted to talk about for each of these gels. So starting out on the Aunt Jackie side, the Curl Boss, I do have good definition still. My curls are more separated on this side, a little smaller curl clumps is what I mean by that. My frizz yesterday was very minimal minimal initially, but then as the day went on, my frizz definitely grew. I have more halo frizz. Now I always had some frizz. I always had what I called functional frizz, and still that is just about the same, maybe a tad bit more functional frizz, but I definitely have some more halo frizz. Is it bad? Is it terrible? No, not really. But I'm just letting you know that I did notice an increase in that. And to be fair, I did put this hair through the test. I told you yesterday I planned on mowing the yard. I did end up doing that. And then I also went to the gym this morning. So I've definitely done stuff with my hair. It's not been just in a pampered, air-conditioned room or anything like that. So also with this Aunt Jackie side, I feel like my moisture still feels good. My hair does not feel dried out or anything. I have decent shine. Like my hair doesn't look dull, but it doesn't look extra shiny, and that's basically how I want it. I don't want it to look unnatural. So I don't really feel like that's changed. If it has, it's maybe just a little less shiny than yesterday because I have a little bit more frizz, but like I said, nothing that I'm concerned about or anything like that. My volume, I still feel like is about the same. It might have fallen a little bit. I do feel like yesterday this side, actually I take that back. I do feel like yesterday this side was a little bit more voluminous due to just like the smaller curl clumps. My hair felt fuller on this side, and it still feels reasonably full, but I just feel like things have fallen a little bit, and that's pretty common with me for my curl type or my hair type in general, just because I have fine hair. I am volume challenged, and that's just the way it is. But still, it doesn't look bad. My hair doesn't look flat. It doesn't look weighed down because it's not. Now moving on to the Joigel side, I left my hair like this purposely, but you see how my curls are like clumping together? I have been separating these all day yesterday, and they just keep wanting to clump together. That's actually, I heard, a sign of good health for your hair. So I'm like not mad at it, but I do keep separating it. So I just did that. I haven't had to do that on the Aunt Jackie side, but for the Joico Joigel side, I have definitely, like I said, been doing it all day yesterday. My hair for moisture still feels moisturized. I say it feels just a tad bit more moisturized on the Joigel side than it does on the Aunt Jackie side, but neither side feels bad. This does not feel over moisturized, and because of that, my hair still feels lightweight. It still feels like I have some volume. Once again, not loads of volume. This side was never quite as volumized as the Aunt Jackie side yesterday, but now I feel like they're a little bit more even, a little bit more on the same playing field. Let me know if you guys notice any difference or what you think about that. The shine, I do feel like this has a tad bit more shine on this side. And one thing to note about that too, because when I mentioned the shine, I also mentioned frizz on my Aunt Jackie side. The frizz on this side, I have had a little bit more develop here, but not a ton. So I do feel like I have good definition throughout. Like I said, those big chunky curls that keep wanting to clump together. But I feel like I also don't have quite as much frizz on this side. Is there still frizz a little bit throughout? Yes, but not quite as much. Now for the Aunt Jackie's The Curl Boss, I said before, I've only ever paired this with the Curl-a-la Curling Custard from Aunt Jackie's as well. And so I've not played around with using it with anything else besides that. And so this was my first time, you know, experimenting with a different cream. And I think it still paired pretty well. I still like my results. Actually, if I'm remembering correctly, I'm pretty sure the results that I have on this side were pretty similar to what I had gotten when I paired this with that Aunt Jackie's Curl-a-la Curling Custard. I'm excited to pair this with other things too, just to see how it works and everything like that. But I do think that this is a good, affordable, that's a big thing. This one is definitely affordable, and you could get it on the ground. It's easy to find in store gel. I think that this is a good option if you're looking for something that's maybe a little bit more harder hold, a little bit more control. Is it the most hard hold? No. My curls do feel soft. My curls do feel very pliable, but there is still structure to my curls, and so there is still hold. One thing too, it did mention about eliminating shrinkage or reducing shrinkage. I don't really notice that to be the case necessarily. Both of these sides curled are about the same length. So don't be afraid of this when it says about shrinkage or eliminating shrinkage. I know that one of the other custards, the flaxseed custard, talks about being curl elongating, and once again, I didn't notice that one being curl elongating. I should do a side by side between those two gels, the flaxseed one and this Curl Boss one. Let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing that. But I do like this gel. I do think it is a good value. Wow, I can't talk. I do think it is a good value. And if you aren't afraid of having some longer lasting hold and having it be a little bit soft still in the same sense, then you might enjoy this. Now for the Joico Joigel Firm, I do think that this is a pretty good gel. It is a bit more pricey, and to be truthfully honest, prior to this video, I had only ever used this with the other Joico products, and I've used a cream. I've used this with just the cream and this, and I've also used it with the cream, this gel, and the foam in that order. And I always felt like this gel was underwhelming. I just felt like it didn't live up to a firm gel. And I remember Gina Marie talking about this gel being a good gel that lasts pretty well, and I just couldn't see it. And I think it was paired with that cream, maybe just softened it up too much. I really think I enjoy that cream, but I don't think it lets this product shine. But then again, I really love that cream paired with that mousse that I did in that review. So all that to say though, I do think that this is a good gel. She is a bit more pricey. You can still find this in a lot of places, I believe. But one place I would encourage you, if you're looking for this and want to find a deal on it, I would encourage you to check out like your TJ Maxx or Marshalls. They have a lot of Joico products. I've not seen this one specifically. Have I? Yeah, I don't think I've seen this one specifically, but like I say, I see their products all the time there and it's always changing, so you might find it at some point. Or you could do like me and wait till it's on sale at Ulta, so that's another option. But I do think that this is good. I do think that it's pretty long lasting if you pair it with the right thing. As I've kind of alluded to, I have paired it with something else and not gotten the same results, but paired with less cream, she's working pretty good, I will say. Now comes to the fun part. Now comes to when I decide which one I like best. And I gotta say, it hasn't been easy. These gels have made it difficult on me, but in the best way possible, I feel like. So yesterday, I was kind of leaning towards the Curl Boss, the Aunt Jackie's Curl Boss side. I just like the volume. I like the curl shape a little bit better. I like the fullness that it gave me. Not to say that the Joico side was bad. I just tended to like my Aunt Jackie side a little bit better. But I do like the fact that the Joico side has held up so well that the frizz hasn't really increased and the curls have kept their shape well, even though they like to keep merging together. And I actually see this one lasting a little bit longer than the Aunt Jackie's Curl Boss side in the long run. I'm saying like day 4 or day 5, but I really wouldn't be able to test that anyways because I do have to pull my hair up tonight for my part-time job. So it's not really an option for me to find out, at least on this run. So which one am I personally choosing in the this or that video today? I am going to go with the Joico Joigel firm side. This is going to be my favorite because I like the way, I didn't mind how it looked yesterday, but I really like the way it's holding up today, and I see it holding up better into the future, into the next several days as we go. Let me know which side you would pick and what you think of these results. And if you tried these products, let me know your thoughts as well. I'd love to hear from you. And until I see you again in the next video, have a great day. Bye.